and I've been bed rottening for I don't even know how many days since Sunday. I have been taking showers though, like body showers. I took a full shower. But let me just say, my back is killing me. I decided that I might as well take you guys along my little sick vlog because I've just been home, cooped up in this house, and I've been on medicines, and I am just really hella sick. Let me just say, when your baby girl gets sick, she gets sick. Like, I do my very best to keep my immune system high. I try to work out. I try to bust a sweat. I try to eat healthy. I wash my hands. I try everything to keep myself nice and healthy and away from all the germs and stuff. But because when I get sick, I get sick. And so I've been bed rotting, and I need to like kind of freshen up, get the room circulating, get some air. Did the laundry, and I am exhausted though. The thing is, I can't do much because I feel so tired. So I'm going to take you guys along a little cozy, sicky vlog. The good thing is I did wake up this morning and I feel like I have an appetite, and I really want to eat some like scrambled eggs and toast and bacon. Like I need some food. All I've been drinking is like broth, chicken soup, and like crackers and Jello. And so I am ready for some food. So I'm going to rest a little bit, and then I'm going to drink my lemon water, and I'll probably just make me a quick little breakfast and then relax. Maybe, I did get a new Bible I want to share with you guys. I bought a new Bible, a new version, because I've been studying the Bible, but I want to read other versions because I'm always in the New Living Translation or in the Christian Standard Translation. And so I want to see what other versions say and how they interpret the word. And so I bought a different one. It's really beautiful. It's so pretty. It's like a fox leather. I'll share it with you guys in a second, but just want to say welcome. And this is going to be a different kind of vlog, but I think you guys are here for it. So yeah, I just want to kind of share what I'm doing to take care of myself. Obviously I'm sick, so I'm not going to be doing much of anything besides like lounging around, reading, eating, and napping. And so I'll take you guys along the journey for that. I don't know how much energy I'll have. I think like even just taking the bed apart was like a lot of freaking work. So I need to eat so I can take my medicines and then relax and go back to sleep probably. All right, we'll chat later. Make sure to hit subscribe, like, and follow. Okay, so I forgot. So I don't know how I got sick. This is kind of what I want to like chat because like I said, I protect myself. Like people at work, people were sick at work. They got sent home. Customers, patients were sick. I disinfect, stayed away. I don't know what happened. We went out to Sunnyvale and we went car shopping. And I don't know if it was maybe inside the cars or inside of the shop or whatever, but like I got home and I felt fine. And then within like Sunday evening, Monday, I was hell. Like it hit me like out of nowhere. I had the chills, the fever, a pounding headache, throbbing back, throbbing headache. I was like, oh my God, what is going on with me? And when I get sick, my husband doesn't believe me. He's always just like, it's in your head. You're like faking it. And he like, it pisses me off because it's like, I know when I'm sick and I know when I'm not. Like I'm a woman, I'm in tune with my pain level, and like I was in a lot of pain. And so I stuck it out. I was just taking like home remedies, drinking my own medicines here at home. And then yesterday I was like, dude, I can't do this. Like, I don't know what's going on. I can't breathe. I'm choking, coughing. And so I go to the doctor and they take my test and they found out that I was positive. And so I am on this medicine. I went to go pick it up from the pharmacy. And let me just say, the medicine is $1,700. Who in the right mind can afford that? I just don't understand the medicine industry. Like, honestly, like, I'm all for like a holistic path and holistic healing and wellness. And I know medicine's there for a reason. I know it is. And technology and stuff. But it's like, good Lord. Like, I have insurance. But if I didn't, like, oh my God. What the hell? And so that's why I think like kind of just gets us. Like we get in this trap of having to be taking medicine. But I have no idea how I got sick. None at all. Nobody around me was sick. And I just don't know. So, I'm baffled. But, ow, ow, ow. My body is already out. I'm getting like a muscle spasm. See, I've been laying down for so long. I can't even like move. I'm like an old 70-year-old lady. So, yeah. I'm going to go to the kitchen and we're going to go ahead and whip up some breakfast. The breakfast was good. I couldn't finish everything. I basically had 2 boiled eggs, some bacon, and sourdough with some butter and jelly. It hit the spot. Honestly, it gave me a lot more energy. I am drinking my unicorn greens. I haven't had this for a long time. I haven't felt like I needed it. So I do have some pre and probiotics in here as well. Let's get this immune system going. But I want to have a little chat about my Bibles because a lot of you ask me on Instagram, what am I studying? What am I reading? And I just kind of want to go through. I pulled out some of my books because I have them here. So I was like, let me just go through them with you guys. When I first started my journey, like, I'm a Christian and I gave my life to Christ probably when I was like 14. I grew up around a Christian home-based church, as well as the church was literally right in my backyard. And I say that because I can literally, we had a little path through the door and we would walk through and go to church in the morning. And so our backyard was the back of the church. And so there's a church in Castroville. Well, it used to be there. And that's where my parents went. And so as kids, we went there. And my grandma's Catholic, which I lived with her for a lot of my high school years. And so I kind of got to be able to explore being a Christian and also like Catholic. My husband's a Catholic, and so I don't have anything against it. I think that there's a place and a reason for everybody and, you know, every religion. It's just whatever's gonna make you most comfortable and make you have that relationship with God every day and have that one-on-one spiritual relationship. Also, when I was like in my young 20s, I sound all like shaky. In my young 20s, I was with a church as well. I got involved with a apostolic church, and that was really different for me. I felt that's when I kind of realized that like church and religion, I understand why people have a perception of it, why people think that everyone's just that way, because I felt that when I was in this apostolic church, I was there and I felt like I looked down upon because I lived with my boyfriend at the time and we weren't married, and I felt like all the women and everyone judged you. And so I felt this urge and pressure to get married so that I could be a part of this religion. And I went to Bible study. It was like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, also on Sundays. We did volunteer work on Saturdays. It was like a fully invested church, and I felt great. I was filling my cup every day. I felt, but I also felt a lot of shame and guilt. And so then my back then boyfriend, we ended up getting married, and it wasn't the good fit, obviously, but as soon as we started having rocky marriage issues, it's like the women shunned me as well. And I felt like, oh my God, I don't know, like, what is going on here? I thought they were going to be my sisters and they were going to help me and support me, but instead they just like, turned their face. Like I saw them out in public and they didn't like acknowledge me. And I was just like, wow, that's not the way I see Jesus Christ. That's not the way I see our Heavenly Father. That's not
that's not how we should treat one another. And I almost started to seeing things from a different lens of like, wow, if you don't look like this type of religion, the way these people look, the way they carry themselves, then you are less than. And I don't feel like that's true. Like, I'm like, how is God gonna not open the doors to somebody? And I didn't know the Bible a lot. I read it back and front. I thought you were just gonna read the Bible and you just read it like a book from the beginning to the end, and then like you get the whole story. And that's not the case. I read it like multiple times and I still didn't understand it. Back then I had got maybe 2 or 3 different Bibles. I don't even know where they're at, which is interesting. I wish I would have kept them. But that was kind of how my journey started. And I think that put a really bitter taste in my mouth about being a part of a church. As well as the church that I grew up around, there was a lot of corruption that happened in that church as well. And so I just started seeing things like, okay, this is interesting, like nobody's perfect, even though, this person can say that they're this leader or they're this top of this, organization. Still a lot of things happen. And I'm no one to judge. I'm not perfect at all either. And I know everybody has their own path and journey. And I think that's why I've always still felt that I still wanted my relationship with God and Jesus Christ, is because I knew that as humans we're all flawed and everybody can put their own spin on it. And that's why I've never really been like, hey, follow me. I mean, like, I share my stuff, but I'm not pressing it because I know how it feels to feel that if you're not doing it right, if you're not living the right steps. And so, I always encourage, like, yeah, pick up the book and read the word for yourself. So one thing I want to share is that I started reading a lot of devotions because I think that I read the Bible, I didn't understand it. So I kind of like put it away on my shelf, dusted it away. And then I started reading a lot of devotions, and I have my devotions here, and I just want to share them with y'all because, like, I think devotions are good. They have a place, they have a purpose, but they're not everything. And I think that's where you need to understand that you could get a devotion, and if you're, new to learning the Bible and understanding and incorporating your life, devotions have a place. So I have some of these devotions. They're also linked on my Like to Know It page and on my Goodreads. But what you have to understand about devotions, like, for example, this one is Jesus Calling, Sarah Young. It's a devotional for every day of the year. So every day she's giving us a excuse me, a little bit about she's giving us verses to read in the Bible, and then she's also giving us kind of like her personal opinion or experience. And so you have to understand that everybody's different. So, I could take this and read today's verse, and one important thing is you have to, ask God to give you the wisdom to understand it and to incorporate and get the knowledge and wisdom from those Bible verses so that you can carry it out in your own life. These, like I said, can only get you so far. They're not the full-on truth. The full-on truth is the Bible. So you definitely have to do your homework. So devotions are great. If you're somebody who's new and just wants to start feeling positive and more in the right mindset, definitely recommend, starting with a devotion. My one that I've been repeating as of the past, I think 2 years, is the New Mercies. And Paul Tripp, he is a pastor, and so he has a lot of wisdom nuggets in here, and he has like a real life tactics, but also same thing goes. It's a little Bible verse. It's, this one, for example, is 1 Corinthians 12, and it's his personal studies or opinions or lecture on what he takes from that verse of the Bible. So this one's a really great one. This one's more of like, this one's not a Bible verse, but she does kind of bring in a lot of things about higher power and stuff. This one's more about like healing. So I do have a lot of devotions linked, but I want you to know that devotions are great if you're somebody that's starting out and you want to kind of touch and see what it feels like to experience and get closer, build your relationship with God. He will speak through you no matter what. But you need to understand that you can't be getting all of your wisdom from like YouTube or from devotions are from podcasts. Like, you really got to get into God's word. So I started reading devotions because I like I said, I read the Bible and I still couldn't understand it. So what I started doing is reading the devotions, whatever they were talking about, and then whatever verses they linked, I would read them and try to understand it. And I still couldn't get what they were getting. I'm like, why am I not understanding what they're talking about? Why am I not understanding what they're meaning? And so I started learning that I needed to have more of a backstory about that particular chapter of the Bible. So, for example, that was 1 Corinthians 12. I need to understand the whole book of Corinthians. Who wrote it? What time frame was it written? What version are they referring to versus the version I'm reading? Because I had nothing but Christian Standard Bibles and New Living Bibles. So they may be reading King James, which is a totally different translation. And so I started like, whoa, okay, now I understand why I'm not understanding. Maybe, yeah, they are scholars and they have, went to Bible school, or they're preachers or pastors, and they have more of that, which that was one thing I kept thinking, well, I'm just not smart enough. But it wasn't that. It was the fact that I wasn't really understanding the main chapter, the main book of the Bible, and what time it was placed and where God and Jesus were at that time. So I kind of stepped away and I started reading other Bible books. So I had like little mini Bible books that, talk about the women of the Bible. I also did some like Bible studies with the Daily Grace. I also did Bible studies with, what is the other one? I can't think of it right now. My brain is like fried. So I started doing Bible studies on my own, and getting other books that have wisdom. Then I found one, Seamless. This one's really great because I started back on YouTube and I did it, and it's really in depth. So to me, it was like, I had to take my time. So I thought I was gonna be able to do it like in a 4 or 6 week, like how it's laid out. But I'm like, no, there's so much in this study that I couldn't do that. This helped me understand how the whole story played out. At the same time, I discovered recap. The Bible recap helped me also with this because I wanted to know the whole story. Bible recap, and it helped me understand the Bible in the order that it went in the story, that the way everything was placed and how everything played out. So I highly recommend getting this one, going through it. Even if you have a few girls that you can get with, go through it. I am still like, I would say I'm still working through it because there's just so much in here that it's just jam-packed. So Seamless was a great one. There was 2 videos series that came out, and I can't even think what they are. I'll have to let me look. Hold on. I'm gonna be like fried brains. So back in, that's going up. Back in 2021, I found She Reads Truth Bible. Now, I sat on this because it was like $100. I'm like, oh my God, $100 for a book. And then I didn't know what color I wanted. And I was just like, what do I do? And so, okay, yes. So I ended up discovering a series called The Chosen. During that time, I was in a book group. I was in a book club group with one of my ex-colleagues, and I just told her, like, I'm having so much trouble. Like, I ended up having my Bible. I bought this Bible back in 2021, and like I said, I was reading it. I was doing study guides. I was, okay, I'm going to go through each book. I'm going to read the lesson plan. I'm going to review the chapter. I'm going to study the book. And I did it. I did it. I did learn a lot. But I was still not gravitating towards, like, I would read it. I'm like, okay, I already read this before. Okay, I already read this before. And I think things started to click because, like I mentioned, I read the Bible several times. So I asked my friend, I was like, hey, what Bible do you read? Like, how do you read in the morning, or what do you pick? Like, I am feeling a little bit like stumped. And she's like, whoa, well, actually, I have the New Living Translation. She shared a book like this. And my mind was like, what? And okay, let me just tell you. So growing up, my grandma, she's Catholic. Every day she did First Communion. She was very involved. She had me go through the catechism. She had me go through these like encuentros, these like, I mean, I don't even speak Spanish. So, you know, I went through this motion with her because I was living with her. At the time, I was probably I was like 15 or 17. I lived with her. And every morning she would get up after all her sisters left and, you know, breakfast was over and done. She would get up and she would go and read her Bible. She would drink her coffee and read a Bible that looked just like this. The front of the cover looks similar to this. And when my friend brought hers out, it looked so identical to my grandma's Bible. And my grandma passed away during COVID. And when that happened, I was like, oh my God, my heart just like it just all came back. Because every morning, you know, I pray for my grandma and I would call her. And when my friend brought this and said, this is the Bible I read, I immediately added to my cart and bought it on Amazon. Now, a different one came, so I guess they're always like redoing the covers and stuff. But I was just drawn to it because one, she mentioned like, hey, Wendy, she's like, it's really great. It's New Living Translation, so like it's easy to understand. And then the way it works is there's different ways that you could study this book. But the way it works is it has a few chapters. Well, it has like one chapter of the Old Testament. It has one chapter of the New Testament. And then it has like a Proverbs, and then it has a Psalms. So it has like, it is like a Proverbs is more like your wisdom, and then a Psalms is more like your uplifting spiritual. So she said you could sit down, it takes about 15 minutes, you can read all of that, and then, you know, meditate on it, pray on it, study it, whatever you want to do. Or some people do is they decide to read the Old Testament and the Proverbs in the morning, and in the night they read the New Testament and the Psalms in the night. And so it just depends on how you want to break it up. And so I went through this thing, and like I've read this thing already several times as well. And I bought this in 2022, so a year later after I bought that one. And I still read this one. And you guys see that I read this one all the time because honestly, it's like, it's just, and this one's in chronological order, so it kind of shares a story. At the same time, I started reading the Bible recap, and that one's in chronicle order as well. And then I discovered the Chosen, which also helped like visualize what was happening in the Bible. And the new one I just discovered was The House of David. Oh my God, that is such a good series. Like it just like speaks volume of the house of Saul and David, and like you see how the kings were and how things were evolved and how things happened and how the Israelites and everybody you know, turned. And like it opens your eyes up, because when you read these stories, you know, you're like, okay, it's just a story, like whatever. But no, there's actually purpose and meaning to it. And so I read this one. Now, this one that I got, She Reads Truth, it's beautiful. It's a hardcover. It's definitely heavy duty. And so like when I travel and stuff, I don't like to use this one. I did add the tabs to it. I did do a little bit more of like, you know, what do they call it? Journaling on the side. Not like crazy journaling, because like obviously I did decorate some pages. It has beautiful little pieces in it too. So this one's very like aesthetic, I would say. But I do love it that I can read it. I understand what it's saying. It has margin space. And then the authors also give a little input in there. I think like in the beginning, they do share a little story about like when it was made or when it was written, who it was written by. They give you like this little background. And I love that because that's kind of what you need to understand the story, or else you're reading and you're like, what does it even mean? So this is the Christian Standard. Okay, so Christian Standard and the New Living Translation, they kind of, I would say they're kind of like, to me, when I read a chapter from here and a chapter from here, they basically say the kind of same thing. So I don't find a difference. Now, I shared with you guys that I bought another Bible because I'm not trying to collect Bibles or anything, but I started realizing that I'm reading these and I'm just kind of like understanding, but I want to go a little bit deeper into God's Word. So that brought me to this Bible, which is the NIV Wide Margin Bible. Hold on, somebody's here. Okay, it was UPS dropping off an Amazon package. So you guys know, I'll probably be sharing this vlog after the other one. We did get a Tesla, and so we've been ordering some stuff to get it all set up, as well as like little gadgets and things. So if you guys know anything about Teslas, drop below. Let me know your favorite like car accessories, also organizations, and like I definitely felt like I was roasting in the car when I drove home. So that was them dropping a package. But okay, so I got this beautiful Bible. I wanted one from another company. I can't even think of the name. Honestly, being sick, like your brain does tricks on you. I found this one on Amazon, and I swear it was like under $39, and it has this like beautiful leather soft cover. It's gorgeous. Like, it's probably the prettiest Bible that I've had, because I don't remember ever having one like this. Like I said, the ones I had before, they were given to me when I got baptized, or my aunt gave me one, my grandma gave me one. They were like, you know, little precious moment Bibles. They were like girl teenager Bibles. So I decided that I wanted to get a new Bible so that I can start studying with intentions of like reading the different translations. So if you don't know Bibles, there's all different translations, and it's kind of like religions, you know, like there's like Catholic, Apostolic, Christian. So everybody studies from a different Bible, and the verses also, the chapters and the books also mean different things, or they just use different words. So the most complicated one, or the most, I guess, highly respectable one, or the one that is close to what is truly written from the prophets, is going to be the King James Version, which is also like word for word translation. It's really hard for me. It's really hard for me to understand, but some people love that, and it's kind of like, I mean, you could try it. I like using it on my iPad and kind of like will read it, and I'm like, okay, I don't get it. And then the New International Version is the NIV, which is, that's the one that is this one, right? What would I say? Yeah, NIV. Okay, so NIV is the next one below it. And this one is the most popular translation, and it's accurate. It's thought for thought. It focuses on conveying the meaning of the text rather than sticking to the literal word for word. One of the things, that reason why I got it was because I did see somebody, I'll link her below, her YouTube channel. She did all of her Bible reviews, and I was looking for a new Bible, and I just couldn't, there was one that I wanted, and I'm like, it had this pretty leather, I can't think of the name, but a lot of people recommend it, but it was like over $100, and I'm just like, I just don't see myself using a big leather heavy bound Bible. I wanted something more lightweight and bendable. Also I don't need an expensive Bible, you know? So she recommended this one, and I like that it has the wide margins, and then on top of that, it has, whatever's listed in red is like what I believe is, I thought she said, I'll have to look, but I thought there was some stuff that was listed in red that's actually like written or stand out from Jesus. But I don't think that's the case, because now I'm looking at it. Oh yeah, here's something. Okay. So Jesus, yeah, so here it goes. So Jesus answered, "It is written, man shall not live on bread alone." And it's in italic, and it's in red. And so I like that, because I do like to underline and write in my Bibles and make notations. And so, this Bible, I just want to do is I want to read, you know, my studies, and then go kind of back and forth and see the different translations. Obviously, I could have did this on my iPad, and, you know, I have a Enduring Word commentator as well, and I can go ahead and like look at different verses, and I have the Bible app. I'll link on my Bible things below, but I definitely wanted a new one. And so I got this one. And so let me know, what version do you guys read? Do you guys have one? And look at how cute it has, like this gold right here. And then it has two of these little book tabs. And so I'm very happy. I think it was a great decision that I made to buy this one. The reading is a little bit tiny. I mean, it's like tiny, but like it's okay, but it's bold. So we'll see how my eyes do with that, because like obviously I wear my glasses and contacts. So now I have an NIV. I have the New Living Translation, which is the one below that, and then the English Standard Version is another one. And then like the Christian Standard Bible it's not highly ranked on there, but it's a popular one as well. So that's kind of where I went with my Bible. And a cool thing I found at the store, at the grocery store, I've been noticing, I thought it was at Times. I don't know why, but it says Life. And so I thought it was like the magazine Times, you know how it's always in red. That's what caught my attention. But then I was like, oh, Woman of the Bible. So they, I found this and I'm like, this is really cool. I want to read about it. I want to see what they say, because obviously every stories are different, and like a lot of women in the Bible are mentioned, but they're not really highlighted. And so I thought there's some like really pretty pictures in here. So if you guys see this magazine, I would go get it. But I'm gonna read it. It's about, hold on. Everybody seems to be calling me. So I picked this up at the grocery store, and it was about $14. And so I'm excited to read this and study this. I wouldn't say study it, but I want to read about it and see what they say about the women of the Bible. Because like I mentioned, I've read other ones. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and I'll link all these up down below in the description. But I just thought I would share that with you guys, and I hope you guys learned something. But yeah, everybody's new and starting with their Bible journey and with their religion and with their spirituality. So, you know, may God bless you and give you some wisdom and knowledge to find the right resources and get you closer to God. Sounds good?